Welcome to Carrying Connected Conversations. I'm Sydney, a spiritual mentor who guides and supports you to live in alignment by finding and owning your power.
I'm Angie, a fitness and life coach, teaching you to love yourself unconditionally by staying accountable to your goals in fitness, food, life, and love. Syd and I are real-life BFFs and biz partners. Our deepest desire is to see you succeed in life by being willing and vulnerable to step out of your comfort zone.
We're constantly learning from each other while also providing support through every breakdown and every breakthrough. Not every conversation is easy. It's the difficult ones that lead you to create deeper connections in your life.
We want to inspire and empower you to love your life. So get ready for conversations filled with laughter, tears, and everything in between. Let's get connecting.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Carrying Connected Conversations, episode 107. I really hope that you guys listened to last week's episode 106. I think it gave a great opportunity for Ange and I to check in with each other in that accountable space to really see, if we're taking action on what we want to be taking action on in our lives right now. So if you're feeling uninspired, unmotivated, or maybe that you're not quite focused on the goals that you set at the start of the year, then definitely go back and listen to that episode. Mainly because what I have to share today is kind of based on what I shared in that episode. So without me having to give a whole bunch of background, it would be really good if you've already listened to that one, and then you can jump back into this one. So before we get into things, Ange, how's it going?
I'm good. I feel like I was stressed earlier this morning, but I was able to decompress in such a perfect way that I am so excited to be here and chat, creating the intentionality in my life. I'll be honest. I was late on our chat today, and that stress was definitely weighing over me a little bit. But again, I was able to decompress and be here. And I'm so happy to be here, not only for me, but for you guys, and specifically for you, Syd, because I know our chats are super intentional. It creates so much awareness in my life. And I know that by us having these conversations, it also increases that awareness in other people's lives as well. So yay for being here.
Yes. I love how you said that too, taking that moment to decompress, before stepping into something. This is something that I did before the call because you were a little bit late. Not a little bit, quite a bit late. And it's something that I think both of us have learned in our own journeys. And we've learned, especially in conversation with each other. And we've shared a little bit on the podcast as well in how, really checking in and seeing how is your environment affecting you and how are other people's choices and actions maybe triggering your emotions, and being really cautious to not react out of that emotion, but to take a moment for yourself, process that emotion, learn, why is it coming forward, and choosing to respond to the situation by standing your ground. So making sure that you're having firm boundaries, like, just for me, because you brought it up in you being a little bit late, it was really important for me because being confrontational is something that's challenging for me. And I get a lot of anxiousness and stress knowing that I have to confront someone about how I'm feeling based on their actions without like putting my feelings on that person. So I was very intentional with just checking in with myself, talking to myself, not from an ego space, but from a spirit space of saying, why are you feeling what you're feeling, Sydney? And like, what can we learn from this? And how can we choose to move forward to honor these feelings in order to create a stronger connection? And so I think that intentionality and whatever we're moving through life is really important. And that decompression, when we're feeling off, when we're feeling that stress, when we're feeling that overwhelm, and however it shows up, kind of checking in and giving ourselves the space to not act based on pressure.
Yes, which of course brings us back to what episode of the first episode of the new year was all about, right? Creating that intentionality. And for me, it was, well, sorry, for you, it was doing things without feeling that pressure. And for me, it was literally taking action rather than sitting and doing nothing, because that's old Angie procrastination traits that are no longer with me, but I'm here to take action and I'm pumped for it. So
Yes, which is great. I love how you touched on that, because that's basically last week's episode. Episode 106 was, we had that accountability check-in based on our first conversation for the new year. And you just brought up for me this idea of leaving pressure. If you remember, last week I talked all about how in one aspect of my life where I'm leaving pressure was based on my vehicle and getting a new car. I think I mentioned that in last week. Did I?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you did. I know we chatted about it after, and that's why I'm like, wait, was it during our friend chat or during the podcast? But either way.
I'm pretty sure I mentioned, a little bit. I gave you much more background in our personal chat, but I'm pretty sure last week's episode, I mentioned it, that it's part of me where I felt a lot of pressure. It's part of me that a lot of wounds came forward and I had to do some healing, with my dad and our relationship. All of that is to say that I bought a new car yesterday.
Oh my God, congratulations.
And I wanted to talk about this in our podcast this week, because last week I strictly was talking about leaving pressure, finding purpose, and allowing myself to flow and learning about my energy and what works for me. And so with this situation, it happened so beautifully. So I've been in contact with my divine team for several months now, being really clear that, my lease was coming to an end on my vehicle, and I was needing a new to me vehicle. I wanted to get a pre-owned vehicle. Because I really wanted to set myself up with my financial position. I wanted to get something that I could pay outright, so I wasn't having monthly payments, and just get something that felt much more financially secure for me. So it's not like the vehicle that I have right now it's brand new. It was a brand new vehicle when I got it. It was 5 years old now, but I got it 5 years ago and it was brand new. I'm the only person who has ever owned this vehicle, even though I was leasing it. So in order to get a previously owned vehicle that would put me in a much better financial position moving forward, I had to be open to getting something that was much older, something that had been on the road for numerous years, had kilometers, on its odometer. And that was okay with me, because I'm not looking for something to last me for 10 years. I'm looking for something that will last me for a couple of years right now and will suit me with my needs, but I own it outright. I don't have payments. So talking to my divine team, telling them, what I'm looking for, and I'm not being specific. I'm saying, I'm open to whatever is the best for me at right now for this phase of my life. I'm not trying to plan to figure out which vehicle it's going to be, how it's going to show up, where I'm going to buy it, because I know what I was looking for is a needle in a haystack. So if I tried to focus on, is this the right one? Is this what I'm calling in? Is this the right one? It's just going to block everything and resist everything. So I was very much like, it's going to show up at the right time and it's going to work out. Well, I was not at home. I don't know if you guys have been watching the videos, my background keeps changing because I was away from my house and away from the city that I live in for a month and a half. So I was talking to my divine team and setting all these intentions and doing the inner work. Like I said last week, I was doing a lot of healing work based on my mindset and the energy that I was carrying and the emotional wounds that I had around getting a vehicle and that financial commitment. And so I got back to my house, today's Wednesday. So I got back to my house Sunday evening. Monday, I had a little bit of work to do in the morning. So Monday at 2 p.m., I said, okay, I'm going to drive over to the dealership and just go show my face and talk to one of the guys that I had spoken to on the phone. And I met him back in September. I showed up on Monday and he was like, oh yeah, I remember you. Come into my office. And he said, yeah, we have a vehicle that you're looking for right now. It just came in on Thursday. So I test drove it that day. And then I said, I need my parents to come and to help me with the next process of this vehicle. Because for me, I carried a lot of stress around like that financial commitment because I don't have the knowledge to back me up on making this kind of decision and making sure that I'm not overpaying for something. So it was really important to me. And this is part of my healing process, was to ensure that my dad, who has tons of experience, would be there with me. And so I called him with all the details. We put a deposit down on the vehicle, knowing that if my dad came and saw it and said no, we would get that deposit back. So I test drove it, put a deposit down on it. My parents left Tuesday morning. They live 7 hours away. So they drove out Tuesday evening, they got here. We went, my dad test drove it. My dad and I talked all about money and how we could kind of get the pricing down. We spoke to the salesperson. We got the pricing down and we signed all the paperwork, and they have a little bit of work that they need to do on the vehicle. So it's not in my driveway right now, but I've bought it and it will be in my driveway ASAP.
Oh my gosh. I'm like literally so excited for you. I'm doing my little happy dance for those that can't see me.
Yes. And I just want to point out, because I know I just explained a lot there, but I wanted to point out because earlier, Ange, you said, oh, now I forget the word that you said, but you said decompress, feeling that stress and that decompression. So Monday, I felt really good. And I was like, oh my God, this was so easy. Like I went to the dealership not expecting that they were going to have a vehicle. Because if anybody knows anything about the used car market right now, is it's really hard to find vehicles. And that's just because of the pandemic and all the chips for brand new vehicles are made in China. And because of the pandemic, the factories were shut down. So if you go to a dealership, they have like no cars on the lot. And they're just hoping that like clients bring in cars that they want to sell. So then they have a car to sell. So that's why I said it's needle in a haystack. So Monday felt really good because it felt easy. I was like, oh my God, what? Like I wasn't expecting this. Tuesday, when I was waiting for my parents to arrive, I felt really tired, very low energy, which is not my normal. So when I feel low energy, I know that there's something off. Either I've picked up on somebody else's energy, or there's something within me that I need to deal with. And that's exactly what my divine team was saying. They were saying, Sydney, your healing isn't complete yet. You're in the process of healing these old wounds. You need to journal. You need to reflect on this process, because that's going to help you to learn the lessons that you're trying to embody right now. And that's what's going to graduate you through this cycle so you can move into the next cycle. So I sat there with my computer, because that's how I do my journaling now. And it all just poured through me and poured through me. And as soon as I was done journaling, I went and had a shower, because water is very cleansing and purifying. And then I had energy. Like I was no longer exhausted. I was no longer tired. I could feel that there was stress building within me. So I decompressed. I did something that is extremely beneficial to me, because I didn't want to go to the dealership with my dad and be completely drained, because I knew that that process was going to be draining as it is, because it's out of my comfort zone. So I wanted to set myself up for success. So I actually listened to my body when it said, hey, we're not in tip-top shape right now. Let's do some more work so we can get to that tip-top shape.
I love this. I love it all. Like my mind is racing with all the good thoughts, because this is such a huge stepping stone in terms of like where you're wanting to go, but it's also a beautiful way of showcasing to not only our viewers, but as our listeners as well, of how you can really embody what that decompression means. And I know, with how you've done it, you've done it in a way that supports you in that moment. And I think that's the most important piece, is if we're trying to find a way to decompress, it's what can we do right now to support us? It's not what can we do to fix the problem for the future. that's like problem solving and using our mind. We're trying to soothe our soul by something that actually benefits us. And funny enough, soothing our soul, this is something that Syd chatted about in her meditation membership. It was the first call of the month, and it was such an important call to be present in. And I'm so glad that I was there, because if we don't create things to do that actually soothes our soul, then that mental chatter, the craziness of life, that low energy, it just happens to stay longer and longer and longer until we deal with it face on. So for you to be able to share what you've done to decompress, I think this is such a beautiful way for our listeners to really understand how they can also do that for themselves. And now, kind of changing the topic a little bit, but still staying on that same decompression topic. When I chatted earlier today, when we checked in, hey, Hanj, how you doing? And I said I was super stressed. I had some things going on. In the middle of my workday, I just walked out the door and I just went for a walk. That's it. I didn't even change my boots. Thank gosh, the weather was in my favor. It's probably the sunshine calling me, but I just literally walked outside and I went for that walk, and I just was present every step that I took, every breath in, every breath out. I decided to either close my eyes, I decided to keep them open, I decided to roll my shoulders. I was just so intentional with every step, every movement, every breath that I took within that time frame.
You're on your spiritual journey, desiring to create a deeper connection with your inner spirit and your soul path. But you feel lost in how to create more joy and calmness through life's challenges. In the meditation membership, you will feel seen for who you are and understood in a way that feels empowering and uplifting, alongside a community of like-minded beings. For only $33 per month, you will get 2 live calls filled with spiritual lessons, open-minded conversation, and powerful guided meditations. Join the meditation membership for more connection and support as you grow into the best version of you.
And I was not in a place to journal. I definitely wish I could, but it's just to show that I needed that level of support right there in that moment. I needed to just be present with my body. And for me, that was just being physical in the way that I could, which is, again, just putting one foot in front of the other, going on a little mini walk, coming right back through that door. Now, I didn't have any water source near me, but at the same time, I had my water bottle with me. And I remembered this because you said this, Syd, you want to clean yourself or cleanse yourself. Sorry, not clean. Well, technically, yes.
Same thing.
Cleanse in this regard, cleanse ourselves. So that way, whatever we were trying to let out stays out. So that way, when we go back into whatever it is that we were doing, we're in this new energy, which for you in your case made sense, right? You decompressed with your journaling, you hopped into the shower, you came out, you're now higher energy. Same thing happened to me. I went out for my walk. I took my sip of water as soon as I came back, because it was the only water source I had. And I went through the rest of my day. And sure enough, I'm feeling so much lighter. I don't have that mental stress anymore. So I'm happy to hear that both of us are finding ways to support ourselves right now in the moment, because I'll be honest, beforehand, I would always get so overconsumed with figuring out what I need to do right now to support me. But I would not think that it's supporting me in that moment. I would think it's supporting future Angie. So I would have a hard time deciphering what I should be doing to benefit me from the gap from now to the future, even though I know I need to get to the future, but I would somehow be disconnected with the present. And by bringing that intentionality with what I need to do to feel good in the moment, it definitely changed a lot of things, which I'm happy for. But yeah,
I'm so excited over here because you celebrated me and my win of the week, and I'm now celebrating you and your win of the week so far, because that's massive for you. When you get stuck into something, especially when you're working for somebody else, it's so easy for you to just stick your head down in the mud and just keep going and say like, oh, my shift is going to end soon, so I just got to go to get it done. But that doesn't support you. And I think, what you said with having that space of trying to do something now to support future Angie, but like you forgot that like what you're doing is actually for present Angie. It triggered a quote, and I'm not going to say this for exactly verbatim, because I can't remember it, but it's something along the lines of, your present experiences are based on your past decisions, and your future experiences are based on your present decisions. So with you saying, I'm trying to get to that future Angie, well, it is about showing up right now and being present in this moment and choosing to support yourself with what you need right now, because that's going to lead you to future Angie, right? It's not about saying, what do I need to do to become that future version of myself? It's about saying, how do I feel in this moment? And how can I support myself right now? Because that's what's going to help me to create the energy that I desire to be in the future. Right? Like if you had kept your head down in the mud and just continued forward, you would have been so drained for the rest of the day. But because you sat back and you said, man, for whatever reason, whether it was your gut instinct that said, I need to leave this environment for a moment, whether it was your mind was just spinning and spinning and spinning, you said, whoa, this is overwhelming. I need to take a breath of fresh air. Whatever it was that triggered you to say, I need to go on a walk, you were making that decision for present Angie, but it was helpful for future Angie. So you could finish your shift in a more peaceful state.
Of course. And plus, I knew I had a bunch of other things going on today, which, of course, talking about law of attraction, one of them got canceled. So thank goodness. Because I'm able to have a little bit more time for myself. But I knew that I needed to have more energy. And it's hard when you're wanting to forcefully go, 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 go all day. Like you're saying, put your head down and keep doing, but not actually doing anything to benefit you right now, not doing anything to soothe your soul. You're only focusing on crossing every single item off that to-do list, knowing that there's another to-do list at another area. But we have to find a way to separate that, to kind of come back into the moment, to regain the energy for us to continue on with that to-do list with as much grace as possible. Because doing something forcefully, doing something stressed, doing something in a very off energy, like if you went to that dealership in a very low energy, for example, or maybe like I know we briefly chatted about it, but let's say you didn't heal through the things that you need to heal with your dad, and you're going to the dealership with your dad on low energy, like imagine how that would turn out. Most likely not in your favor. And it's again, I'm so glad that you were able to reiterate what I said by really taking that time. Oh, I just lost my train of thought. That's so funny. Anyways, I'm going to pause that right there because
yeah, I'm going to jump in because this is literally what you're explaining is what I shared back in the first episode of the year on the idea of we are in a year. This entire year is all about leaving pressure and finding purpose. And so the act of do, because I have that to-do list, it comes from a pressured state. We're always going to have a to-do list. We're humans. There's always more things to do. But if you're taking action from that pressured energy, you are trying to force something to happen. And that energy does not call in your desires of peace, ease, grace, flow, contentment, fulfillment, satisfaction, excitement. It creates stress, overwhelm, exhaustion, anger, frustration, annoyance, bitterness, right? So that's the reason why we are being called to leave pressure and find purpose. Purpose isn't about saying like, I've got this massive, huge goal that I'm working towards. Purpose is about saying, why? Why are you taking action? Why are you choosing to move forward? So in my instance, if I didn't take care of myself, if I did not decompress and heal the energy that I was feeling, then I would have felt pressured to show up because I need a vehicle, right? I need, like, my lease is ending. I need a vehicle, and this is a great one. So I would have felt pressured to show up. But instead, because I took a step back from that to-do list and I said, Sydney, how are you feeling right now? Sydney, like, why are you so low energy? Maybe we can't determine why you're low energy, but we know how to release this low energy in order to maybe not get into a high energy, but at least to be in a calm, peaceful energy, right? So And that's the same for you. Having that moment of decompression is what allows us to leave pressure. So then we're in a space where we can find purpose. And so for me, it was all about, well, I want to heal this wound. I don't want my fear to control me and the way that I choose to show up in the world. I want to step out of my comfort zone and be willing to grow, knowing that I'm still safe, because that pressured space, it makes me feel like I'm not safe when I'm out of my comfort zone.
Tired of trying multiple fad diets and various workout programs, yet still feel like there is nothing working? Lacking the consistency and confidence in your own knowledge of what to do in and out of the gym is why those last 10 pounds feel impossible to lose. You need the accountability to remind yourself that this is a lifestyle you're creating, not an end result. Why? Because your happy, healthy life is the result. I'm here to show you how to feel good about your body every single day, and the Fit and Free membership does just that. It's for the woman who needs accountability and a structured program or routine. For only $40 a month, you'll get 8 live recorded workouts with a personal trainer, 1 mindset coaching call, and over 50 plus different workouts to do on your own every single month. Get started by joining the Fit and Free membership today.
In the purpose-driven space, I feel safe even when I'm uncomfortable, because I know when I'm uncomfortable, it's simply an opportunity to grow. And that, like you moving through that space of recognizing, whoa, I'm way too much stuff is on my plate. I need to just kind of fill my cup. The universe goes, oh, she's filling her cup. She wants to be at peace. Okay, we'll move this around for her then.
Yeah, which is exactly why my day panned out the way that it did. Everything happens for a reason. It truly does.
Exactly. Everything happens for a reason. And it gets to be easy when we're willing to flow. It gets to be easy.
Yes. Now, I'm going to say this just because I was late today, but I think it might be a good time for us to pop into a card reading. So we'll have a little bit of a shorter episode today, but I think this is a perfect time to kind of end this conversation, because a big component of this conversation was from our first episode in the new year. So episode 101. So again, if you guys haven't checked that out, check it out. And especially 106, because that's a little bit of a lead up from last week's conversation.
Yeah. And it's just the reminder that, we don't like our self-care practices. If listening to this podcast is really good for your self-care listener or watcher, it doesn't always have to be something that's an hour long. It doesn't always have to be something that's 40 minutes long, right? Sometimes like, and your walk was probably, 5, maybe 10 minutes, right? So it's like sometimes just taking that small moment for yourself is more beneficial than not taking any moment for yourself. So we are going to shuffle up the cards here. Well, I am going to, and we are going to receive a message. What do we need to know? What's a piece of guidance for the collective right now? Oh, no, it almost flipped over and then it flipped back. There we go. I was about to say, maybe I need to do this differently. 2 cards. One is upside down. One is face up. So I'll start with the face up one. I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. Like, hello.
You weren't listening.
Are you, knock, knock, knock. Are you hearing the message? This is literally saying that like your energy is what matters. And if you're stressed and anxious, you're not calling in miracles. You're not attracting love. If you're not willing to love yourself through the way that you care for yourself, then how are you willing to accept love from somebody else, right? You create mindful moments Don't wait for them to find you. You have to create them. And that's exactly what Ange and I are saying with the decompression that we went through today and yesterday. Energy flows where my intention goes. Knock, knock, knock. Are you listening? Energy flows where my intention goes. Are you feeling pressured? Are you feeling forced? Are you feeling overwhelmed and anxious and frustrated? Well, then that's the energy that you're calling into your life. So take a moment, like you're allowed to breathe. You're allowed to take a step back. If someone's asking you to do all these things, you're allowed to say, not right now. You have to be willing to stand up for yourself. You have to be willing to recognize how you feel, so then you can shift the way that you feel. These cards are so supportive of our conversation today. And I truly hope that you, the listener or watcher, can take something from this and are inspired to reflect into your own life and learn about how you move through life, where stress pops up, and how you can start supporting yourself more through those decompressive moments, those mindful moments.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh my gosh. It's just, everything makes so much sense. And I'm trying to like piece in all different aspects of how these messages apply in my life, and they literally tick every single check. So I'm so happy, and I'm hoping that for these messages that have come forward today, and of course all the other weeks, it is giving you such intention, such reason to show up the way that you want to show up, and to give you that reason why you should show up the way that you want to in the first place. So with that said, guys, we are going to leave it here. We are going to be sending you guys so much love, so much positive vibrations. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to leave a rating and review. And if you want, hit us a little follow on either Instagram, Facebook, all the places. You guys will find all those descriptions in the description below. And other than that, we will see you guys all next week.
Hey, everyone.
Bye.